You know what?
Mhm. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, hi there. Thanks
What
for
about
doing
Tom
this.
Collingwood?
That's so sweet. Do you, some of the block clubs want a
Hang
mayor
on.
report and some of them
Hang
don't.
on. Okay, it's not.
You want an update or you want to keep it kind of casual? Mark?
Yeah. Just hang on. Can you hear
What?
me?
Yes. Mhm.
I wasn't plugged in.
Ah. Okay.
Old man stuff.
That's so nice of you to do this.
I just thought it was, yeah,
You need a light in front of you.
I know. Let me see if this works. I'm actually down in Cleveland.
I just took
I like your painting.
like thank you, a little light.
Yeah.
Let
Let me see if I can bring it down here.
Light,
see.
so you don't look so shadowed.
Maybe I am. Maybe I need coming from the shot. Isn't that what they say? Oops. I don't want to break anything. Is that a little better?
Slightly better.
Okay, that's about it.
Okay.
Let me see if anybody else is. It's just us
Just us.
for now.
Well,
It's not starting till 7:30.
right. So
Okay.
you've got plenty of time. So
Yeah.
I'll have a cup of tea and join you again. Have you planned what you want, said, or, how you want the hour to go by?
Well, I think first of all, it depends on how many people we have. If it's just you and me, I was thinking it very much depends on the idea of this meeting is to formally set it up,
Mhm.
introduce myself and why I decided to do this. Not all the reasons, but there are reasons. And just to see what people would like from this group. It won't take the place of the neighborhood group.
Which one's the neighborhood group?
Oak Park neighborhood. You're in that too.
Oh yeah, this is like a Zoom group, and that is a Facebook group. So
Correct. Well,
they are some of the. I just want to tell you what's available. If there's questions, if there's questions about leaf collection, someone from DPW would attend the meeting.
Right.
Talk to people about their questions. So the city staff, doesn't attend in mass every meeting, but
Right.
can be invited to certain meetings when there's interest, like there's going to be changes to the water bills. And I think
Right.
it would be great to invite
Hey, Jonathan.
the water director
Right.
to attend the Zoom meeting
Correct.
and talk a little bit about what to expect. I mean, our July bill is going to cover different spans, not just the same 3-month span, because
Right.
they're trying to get all 8 cycles on the same cycle so that they can start mailing monthly bills so people can budget easier and all of that. I'm thinking at least your June meeting, you should have him come and tell people what to expect in July.
Okay. I appreciate that.
And
We just let him know that we have this little group, and who I am. so that if
What?
he gets an email from me, it's not like, whoa, who is this guy? You know,
No,
somebody
you
from
say
North
that
Oak
I am
Park
the chair of the North Oak Park
chair.
Association.
There's been no
And
election
we would
yet.
like to invite you to our 7:30 Zoom meeting on this date
Okay,
to give a 15-minute update on the
Right.
water. course.
I know they do that in the East Oak Park Association. They have,
Right.
and that's what I'd like to get to without
Mhm.
making it, and excuse my language here, a bitching Zoom meeting. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's complaining. No, this is how we're doing. If you don't like it,
But,
this is not the place.
But I think getting the information out.
Correct. Oh yeah, yeah.
Then often it's misinformation that people
course.
are upset about
Of
or
course.
for lack of information. So this is not a complaining session, but if you have complaints, you should ask your questions,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I would love to keep it positive, and I believe somebody messaged me, you know, I don't like you. You've been here long enough. And my message back, I understand completely. It's been 10 years, and you would like a new face. And the election is Tuesday, November 2nd. And here's how you get your absentee ballot. And, you know, power and joy to you.
Right.
So I take no offense at any complaints. I feel like a lot of them are based on some frustration, and that information clears it up.
Well, that's what the internet's all about, is misinformation.
Yes. We are about real information.
Right.
And the trust level at the local level is the highest. State government, not so much. Federal government, not so much. But people tend to trust their local government.
Right.
Because they know where I live and they've got my cell number and they can call me if they're not happy.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So I'm delighted to take, like, people were upset that they're cutting down trees. Was it on Lincoln or something? They have to replace the pipes underneath. And
on
so
Oak Park Boulevard.
Is it Oak Park Boulevard?
Yeah.
So I understand that we're the tree city. We don't want to cut down trees.
Well, see, that's
you know.
that's one of the reasons, not one of the reasons, but that was one of the thoughts that I had about setting this group up, was that stuff that happens on Oak Park Boulevard does not affect us in
Right.
North Oak Park. Yes, it's a city thing, and it's, you know, whatever. And if there's a shots fired down by 8 Mile, it's a city thing. But to be honest, it doesn't really affect anybody, most people in North Oak Park. So, you know, and a lot of stuff that happens in North Oak Park doesn't affect what happens. You know, we're completely different. The Oak Park millage vote does not affect us.
Right.
You know, we don't really give two hoots about that, except should it, hopefully it'll pass and, you know, be a good school. But we're in a Berkeley school district, as you well know. What I would like to do is when, oops, we've got a few more people coming. Wow, we're gonna have a minion.
Good.
Is I will introduce myself, and then Mayor, I'd like you to just say a few words.
You know what? You've got 6 minutes. So yes,
I
I'm
know.
excited to say a few words and just to let you, so you've got 6 minutes before you need to start. So you can
Yes.
let people kind of dribble in.
Yeah, it's Jewish time.
Yeah, Jewish standard, right? And my daughter-in-law is Venezuelan.
Okay.
And Venezuelan standard time is 2 hours late.
Oh, okay. You ever been there?
No, I haven't.
okay.
My
Okay.
husband has, and
Okay.
it's lovely.
I'm in I'm actually not in Oak Park. I'm actually in Cleveland right now. Came down to be with my grandkids.
Neat. My husband lived in Cleveland. He moved in there when the Cuyahoga River fire.
50 years ago.
Yep.
We're getting some people here. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give them time.
Yeah.
7:30, and then you can get it going.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. Mm-hmm.
Where's Paul Levine? I know he's on.
Sharon's here. Andy Stowis is here.
Yeah, Sharon's here.
Mhm.
Hey, Jonathan, do you know how to unmute people? I mean, how to organize this meeting so that not 50 people talk at once?
You can ask them to
Right.
please mute yourself.
Right, that I know, that I know.
Yeah.
I have meetings once a month on Friday night and we get like 25 people and that's fine. I can control.
Mhm.
But if it gets to more than that, you
Yeah,
know,
I can, if you make me a co-host,
I
I can
will.
help out with that kind of stuff.
I will.
And then if we get a lot of people and people want to kind of introduce themselves to some others, I can handle putting us in some breakout rooms so people can kind of get to know at least a handful of the neighbors.
Right. There we go.
But I mean, if we don't get a lot of people, then we
Right.
might not need that.
Right.
But
If it's this,
if we get a lot, then we can do that.
hopefully we will.
But I think in general, if we just ask everyone to stay muted, and
Right.
then when they want to speak,
Raise their
then,
hand.
well, yeah. And the way I've done it in some meetings that I've been involved in is we just have someone if they want to say something, they just type the word stack in the chat. And then
What
I
did
can
they
keep
say?
track of
Okay.
who's stacking
Stack.
up to
Oh,
speak.
stack.
Yeah.
Or any word.
It could, any word could work, but that's
Right.
what I've used before. So
What is that behind you, Jonathan?
it's a background from The Office, the TV show
Oh.
The Office.
Okay. Obviously you like it enough to have a picture that big behind you.
Yeah, well, I'm a teacher, so when
Oh.
I've been doing Zoom with my students rather than just showing them my house when I'm at home, and you know, some of them knew right away what it was, so they
Okay.
thought that was kind of funny.
Hi, Sharon. Oh, you're muted. I'm just going to go get some water.
Okay.
I think it's nice to see some of the faces that I have seen on Facebook or Nextdoor.
Hi, Sue. Demi, hi. Demi, I think you're muted. Jonathan. Oh, very nice. Okay. Mark took off.
Ah, now I'm unmuted. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Hey, Marion, I haven't seen you in, it seems like years. Nice to see you. You're muted, Marion, just so you know, you got to take yourself off mute also.
There I am.
Oh, there you go. Now you're off mute.
Yeah.
I even remembered to get dressed.
Hi, Mark.
Hi. Hi, Denny.
We're muted.
Who else we got here?
Got Sharon and Paul and Sue and got a
Oh.
bunch of peoples.
Yeah, as I said, people are always a few minutes late. And I know my wife is going to try to join. Anybody knows her? I know you do, Marion. Denny, what is that behind you?
So I spent 6 weeks this winter in Florida, and on
Okay.
my drive back, I stopped in Gatlinburg, and that was a picture I took in Gatlinburg on my way back.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Waterfalls look nice.
Gorgeous.
We're going to wait a couple more minutes
Looks like a still life.
and then we'll go there. If it's just this number of people, we don't have to mute anybody, I don't think. Unless you guys want to be muted. Hi, Lauren.
Mark, responses did you get?
A few people.
A lot. Okay.
We do have 260 people in our group.
Mhm.
Which is fabulous.
Yeah, I actually was kind of surprised. But the Oak Park neighborhood has close to 5,000.
Wow.
If you
Wow.
know that group.
But
That's-
not
that-
everybody lives in Oak Park in it either. So
Yeah.
you gotta remember,
All
and,
over.
and the same thing in this, not everybody is in North Oak Park.
Correct. Well, that's why I kind of formed this group in a way.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna start. Otherwise, you'll never finish. Okay, my name is Mark Phillips. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me. I live on Nadine, just a little west of Coolidge, in one of the houses that was supposed to be part of Huntington Woods back in the day. If anybody knows that, the story behind that. I decided I've wanted to do this for a while, and I didn't know that somebody had already done it a couple of years ago. Mainly simply because I believe that, and I was born in England, just so you know, and I lived in Israel for a long time, and I've been in Oak Park since 1986, and been in my house since 1990. So I've always believed that North Oak Park, north of 696, is it's part of the city of Oak Park, which we like, but it's also got its own character. And part of that is because we're in the Berkeley School District, and part of that is because we got a huge Orthodox population here. So it's definitely different than South Oak Park. Not that I love South Oak Park. I've been exploring that since the virus started, and there's some really nice areas that way.
Tell you something
Hang
though,
on a minute. No, it's not a main. It's a city. Sorry, that was the wife.
Mark?
Yes.
you know, years ago though, and there was always the distinction between the northern part of Oak Park and the southern part. But the northern part of Oak Park at one point was very anti-Semitic.
And that version.
And it still was Berkeley schools, but
Right.
so we've had change, but there's also a very large Orthodox population south of 10 Mile.
Correct.
as well.
I know that. I do know that. But I don't think I don't want to get into trouble here because I will, but yes, they
Based
have
on
it.
the origin.
Correct. I know that. And I knew from my wife that Berkeley was anti-Semitic, but I didn't know that North Oak Park was at the same time. But that was back in the 50s, 60s, I would imagine. But I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the city of Oak Park, especially around 9 Mile, with all the parks and everything else. And I'm going to spill a secret here. We're getting a dog park, and it's going to be off 9 Mile. And I just felt that North Oak Park, in minor things, was just being overlooked a little bit. You know, we don't have any nice little pop-up parks, and we have nice parks, but not the pop-up ones they have along 9 Mile. You know, 9 Mile has flags that say City of Oak Park, Tree City, or whatever it's called. We don't have those in our area, and it's the small things like that. And of course, small things add up to big things. So I got some. I talked to people from the East Oak Park, and they got a great group. They got close to 1,500 people in their group, and hopefully we will grow here too. So the idea behind some of the ideas, and I may have mentioned this, you know, is that this would be a smaller group where, yes, we can discuss issues and problems with the city. And I don't want to start that tonight, but issues and problems with the city, like, for instance, the water bills. and the roads and stuff like that, and actually have people come on and talk to us specifically, because maybe there's an issue, there's little bit of a difference between parts of the city and federal funding and state funding and stuff like that. I don't want to get into that. So that was my idea. I've never done anything like this before. I'm very nervous. I'm sweating like a pig under my shirt, because even though I'm used to speaking to people about something that I actually know about, I've talked to ministers and people like that, not religious ministers, real ministers, like government ministers in Israel. So, but this is making me very nervous, and I don't know why. So the idea here is just to introduce ourselves. I am thinking of having a meetup by Norup, Avery, around that area, sometime in June, because that will get, and I'm more than willing to get it together, get the permit, which we have to get, of course, and stuff like that. And I'm going to put a plea out on the Facebook page, seeing if anybody can contribute, not money, but if somebody has a smoker, can they come along and we can get hot dogs done. I'd like the police to show up. I'd like the ice cream truck that I've never seen in North Oak Park show up. How about the fire engine showing up and stuff like that? That's for that June get together, and that's it. That's it from my side. I'm going to ask the mayor to say a few hopeful words. And
Yes, right now,
yes,
happily, yes. Is an attempt on 9 Mile Road, sort of, I think, south of 9 has always felt like the stepchild, like you're feeling a little bit like that now, that you're not being attended to. But there is an attempt to extend the life and energy that's in Ferndale on 9 Mile Road, down 9 Mile Road. So about 6 years ago, we won a grant from an Oregon company that looked at 9 Mile Road and had some suggestions for ways to bring life to it. One of the consultants said, on 9 Mile Road, there's no there. You have to put something, there to attract people. So that has been a focus, but I don't know if you're aware that on 11 Mile in North Oak Park, we've done some rezoning. And do you know the area that has the near the water tower that has the parking lot in back? Well, it started out totally industrial, and we have rezoned it, and it attracted 5 new places. 2 are breweries, including the Dog and Pony Show. The owner was one of 5 brothers, and the dad would come up and there's pandemonium, and he says, "What's going on with this Dog and Pony Show?" So that's where they got the name of the brewery. There's another brewery. There's Oak Park Social, which has a bar. I think they're open for dinner. There's going to be another restaurant opening there and a coffee shop.
Oh, really? A coffee shop?
Mhm.
Wow.
So far, I don't know if he's going to call it that, as the Berkeley Coffee Shop in Oak Park. But it's all non-alcoholic beverages. Some
Great.
non-alcoholic beer is the closest that he's coming, but it's all non-alcoholic. And he's opening there. So there's 5 new things that are going to bring life to North Oak Park. We are planning to make 11 Mile look like a city, a warm, welcoming city strip, not the industrial strip that it's been for its whole life. It has been an industrial strip. So we're changing the character of 11 Mile Road, and that's entirely like a North Oak Park thing. The other thing, I don't know if you know, but the apartments that were on Greenfield and Lincoln in North Oak Park were originally luxury apartments. And then they were sold and they became unsightly. They were just collecting rent. They were not fixing them up until the city was considering condemning them.
Wow.
And thank you, you know, for North Oak Park, the kind of amazing thing that happened is that a new group out of Lansing bought them, totally redid them, new roofs, new doors, new windows, new landscaping, everything, and turned that from a place you would go to make a drug deal into a lovely place to live again, once again. So those are two kind of happy things for Oak Park. And I want this group to know that you can invite, and I'll tell the directors that Mark Phillips is our chair and that he might want, for sure, there are going to be changes to the water bills. And they're coming. There's going to be a transition bill in July, and then we're switching to monthly billing. And so you're definitely going to want to have the water department director explain, why are we doing this? And why are our water bills so high? And he's the one we can talk to. And I think that will be, everybody has water questions. Let's see. As far as like cleanups, every side of Oak Park thinks that the other side gets the snow removed first. And just for information, because I asked Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee, where do you start? He said, well, the first snow emergency, we start on the north side. And the second one, we start on the east side. And the third one on the south side, and the fourth on the west side. So everybody feels they're last, but everyone gets started in turn. So just information like that is, I think, helpful. And we want you to share your feelings about feeling like the stepchild in North Oak Park. And I think we can share that we're planning a pop-up park in North Oak Park. I'm not sure if it's for this year, but we're starting with 9 Mile Road on that east section was the beginning. And that was part of our long-term planning, not to make everybody else feel bad, but just that was the section that we decided was the most important, kind of the downtown Oak Park area, the most important to renovate. So we want your feelings. If you're feeling left out or whatever, don't discount that and feel free to pipe up and, tell how you feel. Let's see. Park, dog park, water bills, roads. Oh, the ice cream truck would be delighted to attend any of your meetings, any events. They are just waiting to be invited. During the first beginning of COVID, they would go to kids' houses with all the fire trucks and everything, drive to their home for their birthday. So I've seen that in North Oak Park.
Yes.
So if you-
Yes.
I haven't
I've
seen
seen the ice cream truck in North Oak Park.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
My
But if
grandchild,
there's an event, we haven't had an event because we haven't had a group. And so if there's any event, they are there and they're delighted to be there. And they've been in North Oak Park for the senior housing people and events that they've had there. But you invite them, they will come. And I'm going to put my cell number on and email address on the chat. And please, if you have any complaints, issues, questions, anything, feel free at this event or in between events to call me. So I am going to put my cell number in the chat and I invite you to please share it with everybody. And amazingly, you know, you figure that I'm getting 100 phone calls a day, giving my cell number to everybody, but you know, a few a week maybe is what I get. Because think about it, how often do you need a mayor? I mean, I guess I've gone my whole life and had never called a mayor. But if you are upset about something, talk to somebody. And I can sort of be the ombudsman to connect you with the right department. Happy to help in any way that I can. All things can't be fixed, but we will
Make
promise
the-
to listen and do the best we can to make you happy. We kind of want happy residents.
Okay, before
Thank you.
thank you. I'm glad you took notes. I want everybody to introduce themselves, but before that, I think a Zoom meeting like every 6 weeks would be enough. I don't want to flood everybody. But I think,
I think you could meet monthly on the
could we?
what I was told is if you're having a group, pick a day. Like if this is the last Thursday of the month, then it's 30, then our day is the last Thursday of the month at 7:30, or, you know, so that it's predictable.
Okay.
And anyone starting a group is encouraged to pick a standard day and time. That's
Okay.
my,
Then tomorrow I'm going to text you
yes.
and ask you who would you suggest to come speak, or whoever you want, you know, to speak to us on our next Zoom meeting. That way I can put it
Sure.
out.
Sure.
I have your, you know, we message a lot,
Yes.
you know, so I would text you to find out who's available. Is it the last Thursday? Yes. The last Thursday of every and any month. That's it. Okay. Sue, tell us who you are and unmute yourself.
I'm Sue Malcolm. I live on Elgin, 8 doors down from Nora, which that can be another topic with the parking there. I have lived in Oak Park since 1965. I moved into Northgate East.
Northgate. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just married and actually all the buildings hadn't even been completed yet. And then from there, moved to a house south of 10 and decided I wanted to be in the Oak Park School District. And I'm still here. Actually, my husband's family came to Oak Park just off of 10 Mile Road. I think it was 1955. They were pioneers. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Right. Did you see that house on your street that sold for $429,000?
No, not on my street.
Elgin down towards Coolidge.
I want to know.
I think it was Elgin.
It-
Maybe not. Maybe I'm getting my
No,
houses,
'cause there's-
my streets
yeah,
mixed up.
There's the smaller bungalows east
Okay.
of Gardner and the
There's
newer
a house that just got built.
That's on Sherwood and
Sherwood.
off of Kipling.
No,
Okay.
that's another house. There's one on the street before that, down towards Coolidge. Just got rebuilt and sold for 429,000. I
Oh.
know. Okay, I'm going around the room here. Okay, Sharon Paul, tell us who you are. I know who you are, but tell us who you
There,
are.
and I'm Paul.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's it.
How
Well,
about if I start with that?
why don't you start? Okay.
I moved here in 1955. Pioneer, grew up, went to James N. Pepper School when it was probably pretty darn new, but we didn't realize how new it was. Went to Frost when it was a 2-year-old school. It's now Roosevelt, and graduated Oak Park High School where I met Paul. Worked for the city of Oak Park. Started the Independence Day Commission, chaired it for 10 years, served on it for 20. We ran the Independence Day celebration with the rec department here, raised our children here. Our kids are graduates of Berkeley High School. And we've been here forever. My parents, we saw my parents' house just a few years ago. And my dad was very, very active in Oak Park, as was my mother. So a lot of history going way back to the early days. And my interest, one of the things that I really have a problem with is the patch, which is for Berkeley schools. If you're Huntington Woods and Berkeley, but North Oak Park is not included in the patch. And that is
What's the patch?
What's the patch?
patch is a media that goes to the families in Berkeley and Huntington Woods. And it's involving the district itself, and they do not include Oak Park at all.
So for local network news then, is that what's on the patch?
Going on in the district that involve all of us, not included. And,
Wow.
you know, the thing is too, that I believe that they cite things going on in both Berkeley and in Huntington Woods, but again, Oak Park is not included. At least, you know, if they want to include even just the northern part of Oak Park, which would be Berkeley school families, but it's not included.
Learn something new.
And it makes us, you know, unique because, you know, so much of what goes on in the city focuses on the Oak Park schools, and understandably so. But there are 3 school districts. And that's, I think, part of the reason why the East Side group is so strong too, is it's predominantly, if not completely, Ferndale schools. And we have the uniqueness of being, you know, Berkeley schools and also living in Oak Park. So it's just a different situation. I mean,
What can be done
you know,
about it though?
we're a group. You know what? I don't know. It's something we can brainstorm as a group. It's not something we have to do tonight, but it's
Okay.
something that could be done. And I do
Okay.
believe that we can turn to our local officials too and ask them to lobby for it, because they're the ones representing us. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's just one of the things that
We have an answer already.
Partial answer. I agree with you 100%. You know, it's a fun online publication. And why isn't Oak Park included? And their answer is the ad revenue is not sufficient.
It's online.
Maybe with the new businesses on 11 Mile, that will change.
That's
Amen. Yes, 9 Mile and 11 Mile. That's what we're trying to change.
But I think the question is, you know, is there somebody also that is either in local government or works for the city? Because we can want it, but we may need somebody official. Oftentimes officials want to speak with officials rather than speak to a bunch of us. So we can pose this as something we would like. I know it's now online. It was, at one time it was delivered. It was delivered every single week to all the homes in Berkeley and Huntington Woods. And so I ran a bond for Berkeley schools many years ago, and we could not distribute that information in the patch to the families living in North Oak Park who were voting on the bond. It could only go to the families in the 2 cities, not the 3rd city. So, you know, we have an official group that we're starting here, and it's an opportunity. But I think that as a group, if it's something we feel strongly, something we'd like, we can then turn to our local government and they to the employees and see what we can do to get that resolved for all of us. So we can be also included in the patch, because even if you get it online, we cannot be included. Our kids, our families, what we're doing, even this group will not be included in the patch, and we should be.
Yeah, I think since our tax dollars go to support that school district, we should have the same rights as everybody else.
But it's not a district paper.
Got it.
Puts it out? Who puts it out?
That's probably the first thing we need to find out.
Yeah.
Okay, that will be on our list of things we can focus on.
But it's just a thought. I'm going to pass it on to my husband.
Okay, just to mention, we live on Ludlow, which is right up, right on the corner of Ludlow and Ludlow Court,
Ludlow Place.
Ludlow Place. Okay, yeah, my family moved here in 1951, so I've been in Oak Park since I was barely a toddler, and I plan to stay here until I'm still barely toddling. So we met at Oak Park High School. We grew up here. I've seen all of the history pages. I was first class to enter what's now Roosevelt School. It was Robert Frost Junior High School. We walked into a brand new building and got to pick the colors and fight song and all the mascot, all the things that went along with being the Falcons back then. And let's see, worked for the city for a period of time.
We served on council.
And of course, served on council. About 8-9 years ago, I retired as mayor pro tem on council. And there was more I was going to mention. Oh, I know. We had a small neighborhood group. We wanted to just start out small before we expanded it. Through about for about a year and a half, I think, but till 2016. And we did not go across north of Lincoln, so that's where we missed you guys. We had meetings once a month. We would get somewhere between 10 to 15 people at a good night. We were trying to expand it and trying to get some fresh faces, younger people. It just was really a struggle getting people to come out to a meeting like that. But we did this for a period of time. And I think this is great that Mark, God bless you. It's a very nice thing to be doing.
And Mark, we can also pass on to you stuff that we did do or what people talked about, because it basically we covered from 10 Mile to Lincoln. And, we were passing out everything by hand, stuff like that. So it made it a lot more labor intensive. Some of the positives to COVID has been Zoom and this ability to be able to do this. So, people don't have to, even if they get home from work late and they have to eat, they can sit here at the meeting and eat. We just had, pineapple.
We saw you guys eat.
It was pineapple. You're welcome to some. But, it just makes it a lot easier. And at the time for us to, we were dealing with a lot of family issues. We were caring for parents. So we were literally in the midst of running in a million directions. But like Paul said, we met for about a year and a half.
And really, it wasn't about complaining about things. It was learning about things more than anything. We had people in from different parts of city government. Our questions had to do with real local concerns. We talked about traffic on the traffic flow along Kipling and things like that that were problems for a while.
We also had public safety come out and they showed us how they put on their fire suit, when they go to fire, how they go out and how they carry their stuff in the trunk. It was before the ice cream truck, but we learned about it, through this group, stuff like that. So it was all meant to be very, very positive, and a lot of friendships came from it. So I think it's great.
And my biggest thing about the city, and I think that groups like this, hopefully, can help market this and get more people on board, are really important, because I think that you need residents to be commiserating and really coming up with what does the city value? What do people really see as important? And having a sense of who we are as a community is very important. You can't plan anything by looking in the rearview mirror of, how are things going now. You have to plan for the future based on what people want and what people value in their community.
Well said. Okay, Denny, your turn.
Hi, everybody. I have lived in Oak Park at 2 different stages of my life. I moved in, my grandma was an original resident on Sussex, on the other side of Oak Park, between 8.5 and 9 Mile Road, right down the road from, it dead ended at the 8 Mile Armory back area. And when she moved to Florida, when she retired, my parents bought her home. And when I was 7 years old, we moved in there, and I went to Dewey Elementary School, which is no longer an elementary school, and went to Clinton Middle School for 2 years until they closed also, and was bused for my last year to Roosevelt. And then my family moved. So I moved around for a while. I grew up, I was in high school in West Bloomfield. And then after college, moved out for college and moved to some other states for a while. And when I was looking to buy my first home, the nicest homes that I could buy for my price range were in North Oak Park. So, lo and behold, here I was as a young adult, and I found that I ended up back where I started as a young child. It was a good investment. The homes here are built very well. The school districts are great for resale value. And I was really looking for a sense of community where I could have relationships with neighbors. And so I found myself that this was a good area to settle. I've been in this house on Hart Street, by the way, 3 houses off of Coolidge for 20 years now.
On the south side or the north side?
It was going to be my first house, and then you figure maybe you move on from there, but that hasn't happened. Here I am in Oak Park and, still meeting my needs, right?
Do you live on the south side or the north side?
I am on the north side.
Okay.
So I'm now on Hart Street in North Oak Park.
Okay.
So 3 houses off of, Coolidge.
Yep.
And my mom lives on Nadine, Mark. She lives on the corner house of Nadine and Gardner. And so, as she's aging, it's easy access to support her. And my sister years ago lived on Stratford, also in North Oak Park, and had her first 2 kids there and raised them until she now lives in Commerce. So, I have a lot of background here in this neighborhood. I sat on the commission for a couple of years. Marion recruited me one year to help with the arts commission for the city. And I thought I was going to actually take an opportunity out of town, so I stopped that. And my company ended up giving me a promotion here, and it ended up, I ended up staying put. So, and I really, when I saw that this group was forming, I was really excited about it also. I, as I stated, am interested in forming relationships and bonds with common community people. And about 5 years ago or so, because of that, and there were a lot of new people that had moved in, I hosted a block party in my backyard and, roasted hot dogs and hamburgers. And we had maybe about 15, 20 people come in and out of my backyard. And we just sort of got to know each other a little bit. And so I'm hoping this opportunity, Mark, in June that you're talking about is yet another opportunity in a broader, larger scale for me to get to know and hopefully develop some nice relationships with people who seem to have common values. And that's what brought us into settle in this area.
Yeah.
And so, and then on a to boot, I think if we can solve some of our concerns as a community of how we want our area to be improved and what would make us happier residents, hey, that's just an additional bonus. So I'm all in about that.
Okay, good.
That's me.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I do have a partner who moved into our home about 2 years ago. She's part of the group. Her name is Laura Feeney. So Mark, you'll see her name there. She is not participating tonight. She's not much of a big Zoomer, but if we have activities, you'll see the two of us together.
Okay. 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 Lauren and Mr. Hollander.
You wanna go first?
I'm Laura and he's Lauren.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Oops.
And we live on Talbot,
Okay.
just 3 houses from west of Tyler. And Mark, thank you for doing this.
Yes.
I grew up on the east side of Oak Park, and then in '78, we moved here and we thought it would be our starter house. And here we still remain. And our kids went through Berkeley schools and, you know, we're planning on staying as long as we can.
Yes. Actually, I grew up in Detroit until I was 18, and then my parents moved to Oak Park on Church south of 9. And I had come to know a number of Oak Parkers. And back in those days, there was a organized carpool from Oak Park to Wayne State.
Started that.
You know, it'd be like there was well over 100 people involved in the carpool. But so that was sort of interesting. But yes, then Laura and I, when we first got married, we lived somewhere else for 3 years. But eventually, yes, we've been here since 78, and it's been great. But I agree, having a sense of community is really important, and being able to know as many neighbors as possible, and being involved in, yes, block parties and things like that. Yes, there's always things we can do to, when there are problems, to help each other and as a group to see if we can solve it. But beyond that, it's really about making friends, having alliances. I should also mention I worked for the Oak Park Schools for 27 years.
You a principal?
No, school psychologist.
They need it.
Are you related to the Hollander who was a principal?
No. No, I claim my family was in the Detroit area before his. That was Marty Hollander.
Right, but you're not related?
No,
Is Jeff Hollander your son?
No.
no,
No.
no, we
Okay.
have 2 daughters.
We're 2 daughters. And
Gotcha.
the fact is, we really don't, we used to know more people in our area,
It's
the
changed.
block, but as time's gone on, you know, without having children in the house anymore, we really don't know our neighbors that much. And people don't come out, like, in the nicest spring day, and there aren't a lot of people outside. So.
When we moved to Oak Park, our in-laws bought us, they lived in Huntington Woods and bought us a house on Talbot at 14790 Talbot.
Uh-huh.
And that's where we lived till before we moved to Nadine.
Oh,
Right.
So
that's not far.
I sometimes go by the house and say hi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So what
Andy.
did you,
I'm sorry. Andy.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. First of all, thank you so much, Mark, for doing this. It's not an easy task, but it's great. My story's like a lot of other people. My husband's a Detroiter. I was born in my early years were in Oak Park, but then my family moved to West Bloomfield, and in time we got married. We lived in West Bloomfield, and we chose to move back to Oak Park more than 20 years ago, and we love it here. We live on Harding. I always say behind 7-Eleven, that area. We do have a top park at the end of our block that is lovely, that all my grandkids have visited. It's maintained and nice. It's a bit dated, but I'm grateful for it. And I have had many married kids come in. I still have a married kids that live around the block from me that are still here. And we just love it.
You're up, Jonathan.
Hi there, everybody. I am John Lundberg. My wife is Heather, and she's upstairs with our 8-year-old. And I'm really excited with to see how many families with young kids are part of the group already, and have been posting and whatever, talking about getting kids together and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing I'm excited about with this group, is just getting to know more people in the area. I am a relatively new resident of Oak Park compared to what some of you have been saying. My wife was born and raised in Berkeley, graduated from Berkeley High School and all of that. And her parents are still in Berkeley, a little ways north of 12 Mile. And, you know, when we got married, a few years ago, we were looking for, well, we've been married for 11 years now, but a few years ago, we were finally looking for a house to buy of our own, and looking around different areas. And one day, my wife was just looking around, driving past some houses we had seen listed, and just happened to drive down Hart Street and thought to herself, man, I would really love to live on this street, because she just saw the trees and it was just beautiful. It was a nice day when she drove by. And then, you know, a few months later, we happened to see a listing come up on Hart Street and thought, all right, let's go take a look, and fell in love with it and put in an offer. And then they took someone else's offer. But then that fell through, and then it came back up. Same house came back up, listed again. We put in another offer and got it. So we moved in here about 3 years ago, coming up on 3 years in August. So we've really enjoyed the neighborhood. We're right at Kipling and Hart, right at the corner there.
I know the house.
We've got the giant oak tree in our yard. So
Okay.
yeah. So it was. It's, you know, it's an older house, like all the houses in the neighborhood are, right? So, and it was a rental for some time. So we've been doing some projects here and there, trying to get the yard together and get the house together, and kind of make some improvements over time. So, but really the main thing I'm excited about with this group is just getting to know people. Like I think Lauren was saying there. You know, we have 2 kids. One is a student at Norup, and the other's in the Building Blocks program. So we're getting to know like other families through our kids, but we'd like to get to know just the people that live right around us as well. So you might see us out and about around the neighborhood on our bikes. Our youngest, he'll be 4 in June, and he just got a new bike with pedals, so he's learning how to ride with training wheels. But pretty soon we'll be riding all over the neighborhood. So yeah.
Well, I live on Nadine. You're always welcome to come by my house.
Oh yeah, we come down Nadine all the time.
I'm the one with the big white porch.
Oh, okay.
You come down
Just down the
Ludlow.
block.
Our house on Ludlow is green and white. Go green, go white. We've got the Michigan State flag out, and the house is literally white with green trim.
Okay.
We bleed green here, but that's how we bought the house.
How lucky. You know, I was just thinking, well, when people were talking, at least for a few of us, I bet if we did like person geography, most of us, our kids would know each other, because my kids went to Berkeley High, you know, and we know each other. And I mean, I know your cousins, Sharon and Paul, you know, I know some of your family. So that's just what I was thinking. That's, you know, Ron, you know, said his kids went to, I bet you my kids know your kids somehow, you know, so that's kind of nice. And maybe
Jonathan stays in the district. Our grandson is just turning 4 in May. So, and he lives in Huntington Woods. So I'm sure they'll be in school together.
Yeah, we plan on sticking around.
Yeah, so.
Oh,
yes.
I just saw Marion's comment there about the bike group. We
Right.
are working on that. My daughter just got her first bike with like gears that shift. So we're working on getting up to long enough ride to keep up with that group. So yeah.
Paul, aren't you in
slow
charge of
rolls.
that? Don't you have something to do with that?
Map out the routes for it. I don't know when it's starting out, but again, it's Aaron Tobin takes that part of it. We generally go for about an hour, which is 8 miles, give or take. Sticking, because we've got such a large group, we stick to pretty much main roads now. We used to go through the back channels and footpaths, but that was when we first started up. And unfortunately, we can't even get into the manor anymore because there's no way to get all those bicycles out of the manor when we get to the other side. So
The manor is up off of 10
off
Mile
the Silver Strap.
and just east of Rensselaer.
Yeah, but the group does go throughout Oak Park. People love going through the industrial park area. We go up into Ferndale, sometimes as far as Berkeley, Huntington Woods, Southfield, all depending on road conditions. I try to steer away from the construction and bumpy roads.
It's
Yeah,
a great.
we've seen the group come by right down Kipling past our house a couple times. So yeah.
Right. It's a great way to get to know the rest of the city, because I suspect that most people who live in North Oak Park and South Oak Park don't know what the other half looks like. I know that during the, when everything was on lockdown and people on Facebook were like, including me, a lot of times I went to the south of 10 Mile, and it's an area I'd never been in, and I loved it. It's a great looking city. Not that I expected anything else, but it is with a lot of diversity and which I really like about the city.
Looks like we have someone who just joined us here late. Esther?
Esther, but she's not. Where is she? I know
Down
Esther.
at the bottom corner. There we go.
Yeah. I
Oh.
don't see her online. I mean, I see her, but I'm sure half the people here know her. She doesn't have anything on.
Gotcha.
Funny, that's what I was thinking.
That's not what I meant. Yeah, don't get caught. So,
Was I muted before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was listening to a wonderful concert, the program for Holocaust survivors.
Yep.
Had a fundraiser. It was the Cantors concert with 4 cantors and Jewish and secular songs. It was really, really nice. So that's why I joined late.
that's okay. I'll see you tomorrow too.
Yeah, you will actually. Right.
We belong
Right.
we belong to a Jewish group that meets once a month. Normally at our house, but not anymore. So this is what I'm thinking. This was a nice meeting. Is that until things collapse, we're going to have a meeting. And I will put this out on the Facebook page. We're going to have a meeting every last Thursday of the month. I will text the mayor tomorrow just to remind her, because I know she's a busy lady and it's late and you never know. Finding out if somebody can talk to us.
Mhm.
I don't think it really matters. It can be somebody in charge of the sewage or the water people or the road people or the planning people or somebody that will talk to us at that time, just for 15 minutes. And as I said, we've got to make sure it's not a moan and groan session, but that if somebody has something to say, it's constructive. Because complaining never, as you might, as very well know, doesn't help. I will get the ball rolling, not today because I'm in Cleveland, but about the meetup or the get together sometime at the end of June. That I'm actually used to, because I'm the one that arranges the block party on Nadine. And I will put onto the Facebook page, if anybody has anything to, as I said, like a cooker or a jump house or something that they can contribute, then that would be good too. Obviously right now, everybody should be bringing their own food. and their own drinks and tables and whatever else, because we don't want to start sharing food. And then I will appeal to you guys, because I wrote down your names, to maybe help out with that, to get the message out. Maybe we can print out some flyers, and at least where we live, when you walk the dog or you ride your bike, or you take your grandkids to the park, as you're walking down, you just put this in, and we'll go from there. And hopefully we'll get a nice little group going. As if we walk outside, we'll say, "Hi, John, how you doing?"
Great.
Because I walk the dog a lot. I walk him 4 times a day.
Nice.
Apart, and he's not the dog that leaves the poop on your lawn, by the way. Okay, so I think that's it. Unless anybody else has got something to say. And I appreciate you coming. It's a lot more than what I thought, to be honest.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yes,
See
thanks.
you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Look forward to good things.
Bye.
Bye-bye.